The hadith is narrated by the great companion Abu Hurairah. He said, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Whoever calls to guidance will have a reward like the reward of those who follow him, without diminishing the reward of either one of them. And whoever calls to misguidance will have a burden of a sin like those who follow him, without diminishing the sin of either one of them." The hadith has good news, glad tidings, and severe warning. The first statement, in which the Prophet ﷺ said, "Whoever calls to guidance," means whoever explains it to the people, encourages them to do it, discusses the merit of this guidance, and then they follow and start practicing it. He's not introducing a new guidance, it's something already there, but some people never heard of it. In certain countries, at certain times, some sunnah prophetic traditions are being forgotten. Somebody makes a new program teaching people about the Doha prayer, with the prayer, Salat, Istighfar, praying after performing ablution, supplications after making ablution. So people start practicing that. He'll be rewarded for doing so, and everyone who happens to follow his guidance, he will receive a similar reward of all those people, and whoever invents or introduces something which is evil and people follow him, so by default he will get that burden of every sinner who has committed a sin because of him, because of following his misguidance. The hadith clearly states that whoever calls people to guidance will have a reward like that of those who follow him. If somebody calls people to misguidance, he will be blameworthy not only for himself but everyone who was deceived or followed his misguidance. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said concerning the two sons of Adam, Qabil kills Habil. So we said about the murderer Qabil who killed his own brother. Every murder that happens on earth, son of Adam who killed his brother will have a burden of sin for every soul that is killed until the day of judgment. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is a sound hadith and is agreed upon its authenticity, so it applies to every evil. The Prophet ﷺ in one hadith said, "I've seen Amr ibn Khayr revolving around his stomach and testing in hellfire, because Amr ibn Hay was the one who dug out the idols which at the time of the Prophet Noah used to worship. When the flood came, they were buried. So Satan came to him in a dream and he showed him where some of the idols are buried. He dug them out and then he brought them and put them around the Kaaba. This is how he introduced paganism to Mecca, and people start to worship those idols around the Kaaba." The Hadith also teaches us some valuable lessons, such as number one, the excellence and virtue of knowledge, seeking knowledge and the virtue of the scholars and the knowledgeable ones, because by means of knowledge a person will find proof that will lead to guidance. He will be motivated to adhere to the path of piety. Acquiring and spreading knowledge is much better than spending in charity. It's better because when you spend in a charity, the benefit of the charity is temporary. You feed some people hungry. When you teach people how to recite Surah Al-Fatiha, they will recite that in every prayer. They'll be rewarded, and you will be rewarded. The more you bring people to guidance, then they practice, they pray, they offer good deeds, they give any charity, then perform Hajj. Because of you, you'll be rewarded, and they will be for every guidance that you showed them and they acted upon it. The Prophet ﷺ said about giving dawah to non-Muslims, "If Allah were to guide somebody to Islam through you, it would be better for you than the red camels." Red camels were the most valuable wealth back then. In other words, better for you than gaining and attaining the whole world and what it contains. We also learn that it's greatly encouraged to enjoin what is good and to forbid what is evil. And this is the most important and greatest quality of Muslims. You are the best produced from mankind because you enjoy what is good and forbid what is evil. This is the mission of the prophets. It's Surah Yusuf. Say, "O Muhammad, this is my path. I call people unto Allah on sight, and those who follow me." The Prophet ﷺ give dawah, and if you're giving dawah, this is evidence that you're a true follower of the Prophet ﷺ. We also learn from this hadith that there's a severe warning against misguidance and introducing misguidance to people. So actors, singers, dancers, only that they go astray and they commit sins, but everyone watching them, and this is when it's all recorded, uploaded to social media. Even if a person who uploaded the video on social media is dead, but it's still there, every time someone's watching it, they're getting sins in their grave. So that same applies to music and everything. So that's why it's really, really, really important, firstly, that you don't listen to music. But if you do, please do not post on social media, because, the people that watch it, you're going to really regret it in your grave. The main cause, the person who introduced this misguidance to people will receive a sin, similar to the sin of everyone who get involved in it because of him and her. Also, calling to guidance or calling to misguidance or sin may be done not only in orders or in deeds. So if somebody happens to be taken as an example of a role model, and he does something wrong and he encourages people to do what is wrong, even if he doesn't open his mouth, by proving what is wrong or allowing what is wrong to take place under his supervision, he is responsible and liable like a ruler, like a leader who approves drinking and gambling. And the fifth person that we learn is that we will have indeed the greatest reward in the hereafter, because indeed you got people to the straight path. So every prayer I offer, every time I recite Quran and I get 10 good deeds for every letter, I'm rewarded. Some people say we want to perform Hajj on behalf of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whatever good deed you're doing, the reward is automatically going to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for his great guidance. Because of him we abstain from sin and shirk. Because of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will receive the highest reward, and his status is the greatest ever. The rewards will be multiplied in accordance with the multiplication of the deeds of those who followed him and the number of followers. Also, it's highly recommended and encouraged to revive the forgotten sunnah. So if people were to practice the sunnah, there will be no room for innovations. Those who are involved in innovations, that means they have neglected and ignored many sunnah. The introducing the sunnah to people to follow is similar to giving them guidance, especially if they revive it like it is forgotten. And the Prophet ﷺ said, every innovation is misguidance, like somebody who made a form of dhikr. We all get together and say, we are making dhikr. This is not making dhikr. The intention is there because the Prophet never did so, and it's not prescribed as a form of dhikr. So good precedence is when you revive a sunnah so it was forgotten, such as when Umar ibn Khattab gathered the ummah after one imam in the Tarawih prayer in Ramadan. This is not innovation. The Prophet was the first to lead them in the Tarawih prayer, but out of fear, thinking it is obligatory, the Prophet ﷺ prayed by himself at home. So he made this a voluntary act of worship during the month of Ramadan, but it is highly recommended to pray it in congregation. So I'll leave it here fi manillah. This concludes the end of the series of the Hadith for now, but inshallah I will try to shed light on more Hadiths very soon. There's other content that I will be putting up, such as the seed of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so we can get to understand the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the people that were around him. And yeah, so I'll leave you here. Fi manillah wa sallallahu wa baraka ala nabina Muhammad. Astaghfirullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.